Let's do it live on a Thursday edition. Merely Bo, the great Z. Nice to see you.
It's great to see you. I missed you. You're out there, putting on big events and shaking hands, kissing babies, and
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you tasting some bourbons or some whiskeys. Sure, some fantastic.
It was great. This is not great.
No,
out there.
It's depressing. And I'm telling you, I said this to Miss K this morning or last. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get on clock with this nonsense. This
daylight saving fallback thing.
When it's pitch black at 5:15, your body's just like by 10:30 is like, okay, it's been dark for 5.5 hours. Let's get some shut eye here. And I'm like, no, I don't want to yet.
I find myself in the same spot, and I think it's the juxtaposition of the clock's back and this time of year where this can be rough months because of what we have today, which is the gray and rain and
we had
sun.
a great.
This fall was incredible. It was pristine, and I guess we're still technically in it, but it doesn't feel like it anymore.
No. We've crossed over.
Yeah, it does. This is the first. This is the stuff that when I go to normal, there's no other weather condition that Buddy Garrity will not sprint out to go to the bathroom in the morning. This is the only one where he looks back and he goes, "Really?
40 and rain?
You sure, Dad? You sure? You want me out here? You know I'm going to stink. You know that I'm going to track back mud when I come back in." You sure you're in for this? Because I don't want to go.
What day was it where it was really raining? Was that Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah.
There was a day on the weekend that was
Sunday. I think it was Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah. It was raining and it was like 40. And it was Sunday because I had golfed Friday, Saturday. It was Sunday. And I'm like, man, how are we golfing just yesterday? And Nana came over to give Asa Woody her walk. And Asa just sat on the couch like that. I was like, nope. Not interested. Nope.
Don't think I will.
Don't think I'm going to go for that walk today. And she did not.
She did not. I'm not having it.
No. She did not. By the way, it's like, is it hot in here? I mean, this is a warm
jacket. That's a really warm jacket. And it does feel like that hoodie might also be warm. A little warm. So I think you're getting a double dose. Yeah. Go ahead and let that thing breathe a little bit. Let that breathe. Let it marinate. Now I think you're going to feel better.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's real. Those coats
hoodie, which is a nice hoodie.
Red Valley makes so many nice things. A great many nice things. Yeah, I'm waiting for their Black Friday cyber fun because I've gotten it from all the other. We are by the way.
I don't think they do that for us, but I think we'll have our own.
Well, it's lovely. Yeah. But I think I am also getting served record amounts of athleisure. There are too many companies right now doing this. We've got to slim down the pack a little bit.
A lot of them are really good, though.
A lot of them are really good, and they all have like one thing that I like. And all of them try to be masters of all. And they all have like one or two things I like. But there's so many out there right now.
Well, I've been getting hit over the head with Roback, which I love their hoodies.
Their hoodies are great. I get pounded by them. Yeah. And my guess is we will now because they're
Viore.
Yes. The originator, I think, of the original comfort
great
short.
Yeah, right. But they also have some very nice joggers.
They do.
They've got some nice, what are those called? Henleys.
Oh, you love a Henley.
They have they have great Henleys.
Oh, yeah.
And then Grayson. But Grayson, to me, they're operating in a different
But I don't think they do the bottom half as well as these other companies
Definitely
do.
not.
I think they do tops really well.
But they also some are very out there.
I agree with that.
They're like chill stuff. They're understated. I think it's great.
But some of
the stuff is wild, and it is. They've separated themselves in my mind, or tried to, by price. They're operating on a different stratosphere.
I would agree with that. I would say the other two that are kind of in that category are the G4 and the Peter Millar area. Those guys go that way too. So I will
say the Viore, anything that's in the Dream Knit is just an absolute delight.
It's undefeated. But there's so many. I don't know how there's so many companies that are doing that right now because we're all wearing that stuff
and then
all
Legends.
the way. There's another one. I really like their shorts.
Yeah.
They make a great short. Yeah,
they have good.
By the way, any of those companies want to throw some stuff our way? Happy to take it.
We wear it on the show.
We wear it on the program. Yeah. We wear it for sure.
Free
the great Nick.
Look at him.
Look at him. There he is.
Look at his band.
There he is.
His band of merry men.
He's like Robin Hood. He really is. Little Will Scarlett.
Yeah, there's Little John coming.
Little John comes in the mix. Oh, sure. He's safe.
Everybody's here. Oh, hello. Yes. Man, quite an imposing group here.
We're ready for a new Robin Hood.
All right,
I'm ready for a Robin Hood series done in an R-rated tone. I'm ready to go. I know you have one that you loved years ago.
Yeah, the best one.
But like
Robin of Locksley.
It's ripe.
I think it was called Sherwood Forest.
I
Was
think
it maybe
was.
called?
Yeah, that seems.
Or
like
Robin.
You-
It was
you-
Robin of Sherwood.
I'd never seen it. You
it's
put
the
me
best
onto
ever.
it, and then I watched it.
Guy
It's
of
great.
Gisborne in that one
he's
he's
fantastic.
unreal.
It's due.
Yes.
Do it
I'm
once
with you.
right. Do it on an HBO, some sort of a high-level pay platform so you can do it right. Make sure you cast
Yeah, not
it
a
correctly.
movie, a series.
No, a series. A
Yeah.
series.
Have you
That's
started
the one.
Penguin, by the way?
No, because I had.
Okay,
I've
let me
had
just
too
tell
much
you something
stuff,
right now.
And I had Yellowstone on Sunday that I had to watch.
Okay. We haven't watched that. We're watching that tonight. How'd you feel about it? I've heard very mixed reviews.
Look, I think the storyline at this point in that show. So I watched the very first episode of it last night because everybody went to bed, and so I'm like, I'm curious what was this in the beginning because it's been so long, and in the beginning, Casey hated John.
Yep.
And Jamie was his right-hand man running all the illegal stuff for the operation.
Yep, and that's where they had the helicopters,
Yes.
right, and the horses.
Yeah.
And, the
and so
Native
now,
Americans.
the idea that you get from that to what it is now, the storyline is incoherent. But the horse stuff is really fun. The scenery's beautiful. And the one-liners are pretty great.
Yeah.
And you're invested in the characters,
Sure.
so you'll watch. But this just can't worry about the storyline because it makes no sense.
No, not at all. Penguin, though,
Yeah.
does. And it has.
It's on. It's
it
ready.
has. Its finale is one of the highest rated critical or just normal people episodes of television, period. Full stop.
I know it.
I
saw that as well.
Unbelievable.
Luckily, I've avoided spoilers on
Good,
it, so that's
'cause there
exciting.
are-
and I'm gonna
there are
dive
many.
into it.
Please.
It's just that I've just been traveling and I hadn't been able
Yeah,
to, but I'm going
please.
to. It's on the docket.
You'll thank me later.
I will.
There's no
I will.
doubt.
Actually, you're the second really smart person who I respect their taste who has said that, and so I will. I'm in.
Oh yeah, I'm on my group chat with Manto and Beatbox. Beatbox was a little late to, but Manto and I have both finished it, so we had to go on like our own chat. It is
A little separation.
It's
All right. I'm in. Perhaps tonight. Now we got a great football game tonight.
I know. Great football game tonight. But that's why you have two screens. This is a football game that you don't necessarily need.
That's probably true. I'm also keeping an eye on the Cavs because this is awesome. So like I'm paying
Are they-
attention
they're
to them.
not
They're not
tonight,
tonight, but they last night and they're 13-0.
Yeah, I watched last night.
They're going to get to. I want them to get to Boston next Tuesday.
undefeated.
Undefeated.
And is that a home game?
It's in
Boston.
which
Okay.
is- that's the only.
Yeah, we got Bulls Friday.
Yeah.
I'm going to that.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be very fun.
That'll be great.
So it's the place to be.
It really is.
By the way, the ambassador said something very disturbing and hateful to me, and I responded in kind with some
To
real,
you?
Yeah, that's right. With some choice words.
That's blood brother stuff.
It's what Larry.
We go back.
I said to him what Larry said to Hugh. That's right. I had to.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
moved. Yeah,
Move to that.
yeah, too much.
All right.
much.
The Browns hit the practice field today at 1:45.
Great to have you back, dude.
It's great to be back. We're here.
great
The
to have you
Bigs,
back.
Big B's.
Yeah. Huge.
Saints injury news for you. Kool-Aid McKinstry with a hamstring. Eric McCoy with a groin. Cedric Wilson shoulder. JT Gray, a bunch of guys are all limited in practice, and then we had full participant Pete Werner, the former Buckeye there, Jamar Williams, the running back there as well. So that's where they
he
are
was
on that side of
DNP,
things.
Pete
And he was
Werner, who's had a nice season for them.
Yeah, but he was. I guess these guys were full. Oh no. Those
This
guys
was
were all
listed in a very
yesterday.
confusing
It
order,
very
if
much
I do
is.
say
Yeah,
so.
because it goes.
We
You
got
got
to start DNPs.
DNPs,
then
limited, fulls.
then fulls.
Yeah. So Noah Sewell was full. Okay, there you
Yeah.
go. There you go on that side of things.
We'll correct that for you.
Yeah, I
you,
know.
Get-Back.
That's all right. It's all right. People helping people.
That's right.
And the combine going to stay in Indy through 2026. You
Thank
guys will enjoy that.
goodness. You're going to enjoy it. We have a great time.
Already booked Bo's hotel room.
It's all set up.
It's all set up. And
I'm
ready.
gonna. I told you guys I have all those points. I'm gonna do it myself.
Dude,
Do it in my own hotel.
You're going to go to the JW?
Go in my own hotel. Yeah. Get one of those corner ones.
If you got a
Way
lot
up
of
high.
points,
Yeah. Oh, maybe we get a 2-room suite.
perfect.
Who gets hurt?
Nobody.
Everybody bounces around. Everybody
Yeah.
has the time of their lives.
Yeah.
Be great.
I think that would be lovely. I'd have a common area.
A little common area.
Sure.
That's all you want. A little common area. Then you have fellowship.
Can I? Got to have the brotherhood and the fellowship.
Come on.
Yeah, we got people
all.
golfing outside. I like that. Always be golfing. He hurt himself on the golf swing though, but it was good to see him practice.
Was he mimicking? Is that
Yeah,
what he was
no,
doing?
he was doing a golf swing, but then he hurt himself.
Oh, you can't have that.
No.
Practice
But
golf
I
swing
think,
in November.
I think plus if we have a common area, it almost feels to me like, wouldn't that be a great place to do the show?
oh my
Right
God.
from the common
right from
area.
the common
Who needs
area.
to go?
Why do we got to go down to the mix?
Yeah,
We don't need to go
They'll
down
come
to
to
the
us.
mix.
they'll come to us.
No, they come to us. They come to us.
I'm-
We'll
I
record
don't-
interviews.
I don't think Luminary.
No.
Common
We're going to be
areas.
we're going to
First of all,
There are no bigger luminaries than us now. That's where I'm
No.
at with the combine.
I also
other than
agreed.
Cosell.
Cosell, and he would
then
come
us.
because we'd have
We'd
a
bring him
glass
up.
of wine.
Yeah.
And you know who else would come over there for sure, and they could fill multiple segments, is the notorious VIC, who was just inducted into the Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
I saw that. I
Congrats
sent him
to
a
him.
note congratulating
I
him.
sent him a text yesterday. He was very pleased to hear from
He went
hear
in
from us.
with Gronk.
With Gronk. Yeah,
Gronk is in the Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame?
I think they're from there.
Yeah.
Oh, they are? They're from Buffalo?
Yeah.
I believe one of the Gronk brothers hit one of Carucci's daughters
Gordy, I think.
at one point.
Oh,
think.
my gosh.
I think that's right.
Oh,
I think there's a Gordy.
Yeah.
You guys are the fathers of daughters. Your daughter comes home in her early 20s and she says, I'm dating a Gronk or I'm dating Bill Belichick.
Gronk. I'll figure out the rest.
I might go Bill Belichick.
I think I would
I
go
think
Belichick.
I'd go Bill Belichick.
I think I'll go Belichick.
Yeah, I think.
At least
Stimulating conversation. Set. So is one Gronk.
But the other
set.
one is lunacy.
I think
There's nothing that's not in play.
no. I think that one ends with my daughter being hurt,
Yes, I think
and
that
I think
seems like a
Belichick
lot.
is probably.
Listen,
not.
kid, it's been a good ride.
We're gonna. Yeah.
We'll see you down the road.
Yeah.
Who's that girl who was on the OC who just did that with? She was dating like the young guy. Who's the girl that was on
Kristen
the OC?
Cavallari?
No, not the OC. Yeah, that girl.
Yeah. Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler.
Yeah, his ex.
Yeah.
She just did that. She's like, listen, you're 22. It was fun, but I'm going to see you on down the road.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's an easy letdown. You had a good ride. I'm sure you experienced some fine things. You got to, enact a mermaid fantasy, perhaps that you may have had,
Yeah.
and be caught by an elder fisherman.
It's in play.
It's happened. It's already.
Can you imagine,
She can
like,
already
going
check
through
that.
I just want. We're gonna do.
I want the whole conversation. I want to know. It feels like
Whose idea had to be hers?
could not have been his.
No chance he's thinking like that. But then he was also like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Like
With that face that he had too, the grin was incredible.
Absurd.
the show that they had. I mean, he was a star
Yeah.
because he was just like he was having none of it with Cavallari.
Oh,
Cutler.
now what are you?
Oh, you're
I'm
talking
talking
about
Cutler.
Cutler.
Yeah, back to Cutler.
yeah. Cutler was the star of that. He was the breakout sensation.
Like that show.
You and I,
we talked about it on this program.
and by the way, we nailed that. That I remember having this conversation. Like, you have to watch it. I watched it. I'm like, it's great. He's phenomenal.
And she's
And you
gonna-
and I were sitting right where we're sitting right now, and I'm like, she is gonna hate this.
hate how popular
How he is stealing her show,
Yes.
and I'm convinced that led to the divorce.
100%.
I'm convinced.
Very Cavallari, I think it was.
Jim
called.
Schwartz at the podium.
But we digress.
what a
Here's Jim.
transition.
Here's Jim Schwartz.
For individual period.
You're down.
Where was I? I was somewhere. I can't remember where it was. I think it was Jeff. That like you either had to be out there for the entirety of practice or none at all. Yeah, and yeah, that was before a lot of other stuff. But anyway.
Jim, I know it's been a week and a half now, but the Chargers game, we haven't talked to you since then. Is it right to call those two breakdowns just miscommunication?
No, one was just really poor execution. The third and long, we're in a defense that we should be able to play that play, and and we got a little bit squirrely trying to make an educated guess on where the ball was going instead of just executing our part of the scheme and doing our job. And and I've said this before, it's one of those times where you're trying to make a play, you're trying to make an interception, and you end up sometimes hurting the defense. And that one, the other one was just 100% breakdown in communication. And we had 8 guys playing one thing, and we had 3 guys playing another. And when it's all said and done, communication is my responsibility. It's, that's something we haven't had a whole lot of, and we take a lot of pride in, keeping everybody on the same page. But we broke down there, and we paid a dear price for it.
Rodney was talking about that second he passed to Quentin Johnston, and you mentioned how there was like an audible or like a check. With that, is that something that's built into the play, or do you kind of give the players the kind of leeway to kind of change based off what they see on the field? Oh.
No, everything we do is built into the scheme. Yeah, we don't. we're not taking suggestions in the middle of the game on what to do. And again, I mean, there's no excuses. There can be reasons, but there's no excuses. And the guy that in that particular play that's in charge of making the check was late to communicate, and he sort of hesitated, and that was where the breakdown. That's where the breakdown was. So.
It's on Derek Carr now that he's back in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, just watched their first 2 games of the year, and I think he's played really well when he's been in there. He's a guy that has great arm. He can challenge all parts of the field. He has tremendous confidence in throwing deep balls. I think he's an outstanding quarterback, and they sorely missed him when he was out of there. That and sort of losing some of his playmakers at wide receiver really affected their offense. Put a little bit more on Alvin Kamara's shoulders, and his shoulders were big enough to handle it. But they lost their quarterback. They lost two best receivers. Had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. Pretty easy not to look good on offense when that stuff's going on, but they're closer to being healthy except for the wide receivers. Their offensive linemen are sort of coming back from theirs, and he's going in, so he's got our full attention.
What do you no interceptions by the DBs and the one by Gio? Okay, what's your theory on why that is?
Some of them are just finishing plays. We've had our hands on some balls and finishing plays. There's been a couple other times we've had tip balls where you got to come down with some of those, and they've sort of fallen on the wrong side. I think our pressure rates are down just a little bit from last year. So I think that can have a lot to do with it, getting quarterbacks to throw before they're ready, forcing overthrows, forcing bad decisions. I think it's all tied in. I wouldn't necessarily put it on the secondary, even though, they've had their chances on some, and we need to come down with some of those.
You see Obo as a first down guy? No.
Oh, yeah. No, he can play the run for us, and he's done a good job. He plays a little different than Isaiah, but he certainly has effectiveness. He does it with a little bit more quickness and things like that, and some movement skills, where Isaiah gives us a little bit more size and length in there. But, I feel very confident that the guys we have can step up and fill Z's shoes and produce well for us, not just against the run, but against the pass also.
The depth at end, I guess who you see is also kind of stepping up, like this Sam Kamara guy. Obviously practice squad, but is he a guy that maybe you'll play him a little bit more at end as opposed to the D tackle?
Yeah, we got a couple guys that can do that. Mike Hall played a little bit of end for us too, and he's got enough athletic ability and some speed and some power. So I think both of those guys can be some change-up players for us, and it'll affect our rotation a little bit. But Miles generally plays the bulk of our snaps, and then we can spell him when we need to, and get a good rotation at the other side. We'll miss a lot about Z's. He was a productive player, but he brought a lot of energy to us. Good personality, good leader for us. So we don't just have to step up on the field, but also off the field to fill that void a little bit.
Jim, how severe is JOK's injury? Will we see him back this year?
Yeah, that's not my land to farm. I'll defer to Kevin and AB on any comments on injury.
The off the field stuff, are there guys that you've kind of pegged as up and coming vocal leaders, or maybe even like show by example leaders that could be in a bigger role like that?
I don't really peg them. They peg themselves. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has a little different style, and, some guys provide leadership and, in a way that's, sort of behind the scenes and by example. Other guys are a little bit more vocal. I think it's important for players to develop their own personality, and most of that stuff happens organically. Those guys sort of rise to the top, and, whether it's from production, whether it's from respect, whether it's from their personality, combination of all those. Hard to be a leader when you're not a good player. So playing good is probably the big part of that. but there certainly are guys that have the capability to step up. But yeah, I mean, as a coach, you're not trying to force that. You can try to facilitate that, but players, that's a bootstrap thing for them.
When you see it's leaning so heavily on Alvin Kamara, both in the run as well as the pass game, just what type of a headache does that present to you?
Yeah, he's a really good player, and they fit the offense really well to them in the run game. They are a wide zone clinic tape, and he fits it really well. They block it really well. He can get the edge. He can cut back. He can break tackles. He can make you miss. I think reports the reports of the death of running backs has been greatly exaggerated. Is that the way? I mean, we've had Saquon, we've had Derrick Henry, and now Kamara, and these guys that really carried a load and really set the tempo for their offenses. He's different than those guys. Saquon is strong and a jump cutter, and Derrick Henry is just a freight train straight ahead and stiff arms and things like that. Kamara is a different player. He can run inside the tackles. He can run wide. He's really good in the pass game. He's dangerous in screens. Anybody that's the leading rusher and leading receiver is going to get your attention. And, we sort of have to know every time where he is on the field, where and why all the time, and you guys know I've used this too many times, but fortunately we know he wears number 41. So we should be able to find him. But that's a great challenge for us, and our ability to hold him in check will go a long way to getting a win on Sunday.
When you look at their offense, do you see kind of like Stefanski or Gary Kubiak or Shanahan?
Yeah, I mean, there's some Shanahan run formation kind of stuff, and some of the ways that they were using Christian McCaffrey carry over to Kamara. A lot of the run game is Mike Shanahan / Gary Kubiak. So, he's got that in his blood, and a lot of it does recognize. I mean, there's some similarities in the Minnesota time they had together. Everybody, you're sort of building your offense based on the tools that you have or the pieces that you have and things like that. But you can see the influences of all those things. But pass game's a lot different in San Fran. Run game is, sort of old school Gary Kubiak. I mean, I'm getting old here, guys. Like I'm coaching against Mike Shanahan, I'm coaching against Kyle Shanahan, I'm calling games against Gary Kubiak, and now I'm calling games against Clint Kubiak. And I mean, as soon as some of your kids start writing articles, then I'm out. Like, as I start seeing people in the media. I mean, I've coached guys whose kids I've ended up coaching. Yeah, I mean, there's, but that's just a reminder of that. But they have a really good scheme. It fits their players really well. Like I said, their pass game's a little bit different, but you can see some of the ways that they're using Kamara and the way they carry over to McCaffrey and some similar tool sets when it comes to that stuff.
Let's go more to the interceptions for the DBs. I mean, your system is obviously so aggressive. These guys individually play aggressive. What's the balance between finishing the plays on some of these would-be interceptions, but not being so aggressive you're like doing things out of position or getting out of position?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't consider it I wouldn't consider like sort of guessing on a play aggressive. I think you can be very aggressive within the technique of how you're playing and doing your responsibility. So I don't think there's any conflict of interest when it comes to that. I don't know if it means anything, but remember a couple of weeks ago I was talking about our job is to create negative plays. I don't know if this is a stat. You guys always got to fact check me because I don't know where I get half my shit. But I saw somebody had like a thing of havoc plays on defense. You guys can go look that up, but we were either number 1 or number 2. So we're still creating, and it was like PBUs and tackles for losses and, all these different forced holding penalties, all these different things. And, we're still doing that stuff. We just need to come down with those plays. And it could just be interceptions. It could be fumble recoveries. Turnovers are huge, game changer. And those kind of things. But, I think, we're just a touch off of last year's pace on third down. We're still a really good third down team. And, I don't know after the bye week where we ended up, but, we're near the top of the league in third down. Our biggest thing is just the big plays that we've given up, and that's really been the tail of the tape when, we can play really, really good for 50 snaps and then have 5 snaps that, don't look so good. And coming off the bye week and looking, you'd like to find some commonality. Was it miscommunication? Well, yeah, one play. Was it a missed technique? Yeah. Was it a missed tackle? It's been like a lot of different things in there, which makes it a little bit harder to, just to come out and say, like, hey, we can get that, taken care of if we do this. And it just goes to just being more consistent, doing our job in the scheme and letting the scheme work for us and making plays within the scheme as opposed to trying and pressing to do too much. Everybody wants to make turnovers. We feel a big responsibility to do that to help our team, but we also have to guard against, doing something that could put the rest of the defense at risk. And there's that fine line of being aggressive and being reckless. So,
wreaking havoc. Have you ever seen a guy get 3 sacks in 4 plays?
Well, no, I don't think anybody has, right?
Yeah.
I think that was like the first time in NFL history it had happened.
So then, are you surprised anybody tries to block him one-on-one?
Yeah, it's tough. He's such a game changer, and people start like they started taking care of it after that after those couple series right there. Miles is just an incredibly talented guy that can completely change games, and again, we've talked about it. Whether he's having the production or he's setting the table for other people, he still affects the game, and it's good to see him just being healthy and looking like himself again. He went a few weeks where, he just didn't look 100% like himself, and I don't want to speak for him and his health, but I think you could see it. He was trying to push through things, but he's starting to get a little bit better as a team. We're getting a little bit better, and it'll be good to see us close to full strength as we go forward this second half.
Have you ever seen a team use a quarterback like the Saints used Taysom Hill in their offense?
Yeah, I mean, there was a guy named Jim Jensen who used to, for the Miami Dolphins. You guys remember, Tone? You were around for him? A lot of people have had sort of specialty type quarterbacks and things like that, but he's such a good player in all regards. He's a really good special teams player. I've had games where he started at quarterback against us. It was in Philly. We played him, and he can run he ran the whole offense. His threat as a runner, he can play running back, he can play tight end, he can play wide receiver. Multi-dimensional players like that make it a little bit hard to zero in on your game plan because you can't just say when he goes in the game he's a running back. And we talked a little bit about Kubiak and Shanahan and some of that influence. They're using him a lot the way that San Fran uses Uslick, 44. And getting him on the move, and those guys that blur the lines of, is that guy a fullback? Is he a running back? Is he a wide receiver? Is he a tight end? The answer is yes. And that's sort of the way with Taysom. I got a lot of respect for that player. He's tough. He plays the game the way it should be played, and he takes the first play last week and goes for a touchdown. It gets called back with a penalty. But that's just an outstanding individual play, and you can't really put that guy in a box and say he's just a specialty quarterback or he's only a, specialty tight end or whatever it is. I mean, don't hand him the ball in short yardage. They'll let him beat a quarterback. We talked a lot about Kamara, but that's a guy, and they missed him when he was injured too. He's missed some time with that chest injury. So fortunately, we know he wears number 7. So. All right, guys.
You're up.
All right, there you go. Coach Jim Schwartz at the podium as your Browns get set to go down to New Orleans and take on the Saints. Browns fans, check out Vivid Seats official fan experience packages for this season's home games. When you purchase seats in the Vivid Seats Terrace experience, you're going to score pregame field passes, all-inclusive food and beverage, and more. Visit vividseats.com today to learn more. Coming up next, we will talk about Jim Schwartz's defense and their matchup against the Saint offense. That's coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns. Go to leafilter.com/GoBrowns to schedule your free gutter inspection and receive your exclusive promo offer. That's leafilter.com/GoBrowns. Visit today. It is a matchup day. You heard from defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. Now let's take a look at the numbers when comparing his defense versus the New Orleans Saints offense. Dr. Z.
Thank you.
Dr. Z.
Thank you. All right. Saints offense on the season, middling. They've been pretty middle of the pack. They are 13th in rushing offense. They are 16th in passing offense, 16th in total offense, 16th in points per game, 22.7 points per game, 335 yards per game. 5.4 yards a play is actually pretty robust. They've been very good at hitting chunk plays, and so if you're the Browns, you have got to avoid those. They are 17th on third down. They've been very good in the red zone, though. 19 of 31 in the red zone. That is 9th in the league, 61%. And then goal to go, 13 of 15 in goal to go situations. That's third best in the league. They're led by Derek Carr, the 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback. For his career, Carr's 65% completions. He's thrown for over 40,000 yards, 253 touchdowns, 111 interceptions, and a 93 rating. You look at Derek Carr this year, 3-4 as a starter, 67% completions, 1,494 yards, 8.1 an attempt, that's near the top of the league. 11 touchdowns, 4 picks, a 93 rating. So he has been very good, and he's been doing this really. They lost Rashid Shaheed earlier this year, who was averaging 18 yards a catch and making big plays all over the field. G-Man was going nuts reading about Shaheed's statistics. And now Chris Olave's on IR, who had 32 catches for 400 yards. So their receivers in this game are going to be Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who they just signed 2 weeks ago, who last week had 3 for 109 and 2 touchdowns, but he's a big play guy you've got to be worried about. They've got 2 undrafted rookies, Jermaine Jackson and Mason Tipton, as well as on their practice squad, Kelvin Austin and Dante Pettis, who caught balls last week. But really, this offense is about making some big plays, which they did to Valdez-Scantling last week. Both of Carr's touchdowns were to him, 109 of the 269 yards. But this offense is mostly about one guy, and then there's a second guy that it's amazing what he's doing in the league. The first is Alvin Kamara. 715 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 51 receptions, 421 yards, and a touchdown. So leads the team in rushing, leads the teams in receiving. Leads the NFL with 218 touches. He's third in the league behind only Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley with 1,136 total yards. He is a 5-time Pro Bowler, and he is well on his way to his first 1,000-yard rushing season of his career. He does not have one, which is hard to believe. But he's
wild.
Got 715 yards, so he is 285 yards away from doing that. The other guy that's worth mentioning is Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill this year has already completed a pass. He has run it 27 times for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's got 10 catches for 100 yards. Last week, he actually had an 88-yard touchdown catch erased by a holding penalty. For his career, I don't know how many people have this.
All right.
And I have to wonder, and maybe G-Man. Is G-Man in there? All right, G-Man, do some research on this for me. Are there any other players that have 30 or more rushing touchdowns, 10 or more receiving touchdowns, and 10 or more passing touchdowns in an NFL career?
The only guy I could think of would be Cordell Stewart.
I know, but do you think he caught 10 and ran for 30?
That'd be pretty easy. I'll look it up.
That's very easy to look it up.
G-Man's on it.
We're all on it.
No pressure.
Let's see, you can get there first. Cordell Stewart. Definitely he's going to have the passing touchdowns, no problem.
All right, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right, so he's got, the 77 passing touchdowns. That's easy. What did you say rushing? What did we need?
30.
30 rushing?
Taysom Hill's got 30. He's got that.
He's got that.
But he doesn't have the receiving. He only has 5.
He was the closest I could think of.
And he had 4 in his first 2 seasons in the league receiving.
Well, then he went quarterback. He was that slash thing at the beginning, and then he became the quarterback. So he's the one. Here's the difference. Hill never really became the quarterback.
Correct.
He just was always this gadget thing.
Yeah.
But
he's got to be the only. I can't think of anybody else that would have.
You'd have to go back
10 passing touchdowns and have 30 and 10 rushing and receiving.
I mean, you'd have maybe somebody in the Wayback Machine. When they played the game like totally differently. But no, it's hard to imagine it.
Frank Gifford.
There it is. So I knew it had to be way back. Had to be way back because at that point the halfback position was different. You threw it a lot out of the halfback and all of that. So that yeah.
Frank Gifford.
Yeah.
Well, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Frank Gifford, 79 rushing touchdowns, 43 receiving, and he threw 14 touchdowns. He threw at least one passing touchdown. Now, this is incredible. Hold on a second. Hold the phone. Frank Gifford in his career threw 63 passes.
Okay.
29 completions. 14 of them were touchdowns.
When that halfback pass was called, baby.
All right, hold on. So
he went to the house.
14 passing touchdowns on 63 attempts. That feels like that might have to be the best ratio ever.
It would seem to be on
for
a
somebody
very
that has
short
thrown
list.
at least 10.
Yeah.
I don't know, where's Taysom? Taysom Hill doesn't. He's not even, when you type in Hill, he's not one of the first people that come up on.
Hey, G-Man. Ask him this. Does he know who Frank Gifford is? Does he know what he did after he was done playing?
He does not.
See, this is what I was fearful of. So Frank Gifford was,
Monday Night
for
Football.
if you're our age, you know that he was in the original Monday Night Football booth with Cosell and Dandy Don Meredith.
Yep.
I'm too young to remember that, but certainly was a fixture on Monday Night Football. Al, Frank, and Dan Deerdorf.
Dan Deerdorf.
Yeah.
For
in the 80s.
20 years, 80s and 90s, it was those guys.
I feel like my dad wants to be Dan Deerdorf. There's a lot of things about my
A lot
dad
of similarities
that are Deerdorf.
And then Deerdorf, I think last year or the year before, retired from the Michigan booth because he was the color commentator on the Michigan radio
Correct.
network for a long
Deerdorf.
time. Deerdorf was,
How about it?
legendary Michigan
So,
offensive lineman.
By the way, Taysom Hill needed 300 attempts to throw his 11 touchdowns.
Slightly different.
60-something attempts and 14 touchdowns?
Yeah. Gifford also was married to Kathy Lee.
Kathy Lee.
Well,
Who-
that was a mistake. Maybe you want to take
Well,
that off
I don't
your
know.
resume.
They've got a lovely. Didn't they have a son together and all of that?
come on, a life was
Like,
created,
lovely
yeah,
family
sure.
and
She
yeah.
was a bit loco, though.
Oh, each their. I mean, he was probably in his 60s when they got married, and she was probably late 30s, early 40s at best. I would say, maybe even something else. I mean, I'm totally making that up. He probably doesn't know who Kathy Lee Gifford is.
You know who Kathy Lee Gifford is? He does.
Oh, there you go.
Who did she host the show with?
No idea.
He don't know about Reach?
Reach. Oh, does he know who Regis Philbin is?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was Kathy Lee and Regis.
Sure was. Regis
Or
and
Regis
Kathy
and
Lee.
Kathy
A
Lee.
hell of a go-between currently.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Good stuff.
Really good stuff. We haven't finished. So that's who they are on offense. They've got a big line with a lot of investment into it. Their right tackle's a first-round pick from 2019, Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. Their right guard was a first-round pick in 2020, Cesar Ruiz from Michigan. Their left tackle is their first-rounder this year from Oregon State, Taliesin Fuaga.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Taliesin Fuaga. I'm going to call him like Umaga. I'm going to call him Fuaga. He's allowed 5 sacks and 27 pressures, both teams high. Though this team they don't give up a ton of sacks. Good test for us. Clint Kubiak's the offensive coordinator. He was the quarterback coach under Kevin Stefanski in 2019 in Minnesota when Kevin Stefanski was the offensive coordinator in Minnesota before he got the job here in Cleveland. He would ultimately become then Minnesota's offensive coordinator. Then he spent a season with Kyle and was the pass game coordinator for the 49ers and is now the offensive coordinator of the Saints. And he is the son of Gary. Big Gare.
The G-Man.
The G-Man. For the Browns.
Little G-Man, yeah. I'm just entranced by this Gifford's life he had.
Oh, man.
I mean, 3 different – one of his daughters married Robert Kennedy Jr.
Wow.
Or no, married – married – no. I have that wrong. Married a son of Robert Kennedy, the Robert Kennedy, but not Jr. Kathy Lee was 23 years the junior of Frank. So she is he died at 84. So there you go. All right.
Man.
We're learning things, kids. We're learning things here.
We're learning. Yes, for the Browns, new look defensive line. Zadarius Smith gone, so Obo Okoronkwo and Isaiah McGuire are going to get some real opportunities there. Excited to see that. Jordan Hicks should be back for the Browns at the linebacker position. Devin Bush and Mahmoud Diabate continue to play well, and the team's very excited about Winston Reed. We're going to hear from our linebacker coach Jason Tarver on Friday, which is tomorrow, and you're going to like what he has to say.
I like everything. I mean, like every time we talk to him, we win.
By the end of it, he was sweating. I think I was frothed up. I was ready to go. I think our listeners will be ready to go. It was great. Great. And he was very pleased that he had his own mic. Very pleased.
It's working out pretty well.
Yeah, people really seem to like
They
it.
like being able to have their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. I think in this one, Alvin Kamara's got to be focused 1, 2, and 3, and then getting pressure on Derek Carr. You pressure Derek Carr, he'll throw you the football. You leave Derek Carr clean, Derek Carr can still absolutely make you pay.
Can they get out?
Like Tim Misney.
Remind me to tell you about that off air. The what was I going to tell you about Derek Carr?
I don't know.
Can they get out from under him this year? Because they have like $60 million. They're in cap hell.
Yeah, they're in a bad way, brother.
I'm sure they'd like to find a way to reset this thing a little bit.
Yeah.
I know they just redid his deal, so that'll be something to watch because he's.
By the way, Derek Carr this year,
Yeah.
from a clean pocket, 75% completions, 8.3 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a rating of 111. So you have got to get pressure on him. Got to.
Yeah, you do.
And he's been great off of play action. That's what this offense is built on, right? 10.6 yards per attempt, 121 rating off of play action.
I saw Delpa today talking about in the availability of going back to the Superdome, and his grandma's making gumbo, and she's already got the roux is already rolling for it. He had to buy a suite at the Superdome for it. Louisiana players returning to play in that stadium is so special.
Yes.
For all of them.
Yes.
We had that with Jarvis. We've had that with Odell. Not that Odell was here when we went back to New Orleans, but there is a magical thing for folks from that state when they go back to New Orleans.
No doubt. And tell you what I'm excited about. I'm excited about getting into a little Commander's Palace.
Did you get that locked in?
Oh, we're locked in, brother.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they have I'm pretty sure one of their legendary.
So I feel like they have a gumbo and a turtle soup.
That's it. I want to check if they had the turtle soup, but they have the turtle soup.
So would you say have that over the gumbo?
Yeah, I would. Because you can do a lot of places do great gumbo.
Yeah.
So a lot of places do, but like the turtle soup is that's their spot, and it's in the oh gosh, Garden District.
Turtle soup au sherry, the authentic Louisiana favorite with veal fond egg and crushed lemon, finished tableside with a splash of aged sherry. Sure, I'm going to do that. Although you can get a soup 111, which is a demitasse tasting of all 3 soups: the gumbo, the turtle, and the soup du jour.
Well, I feel like you're doing that. As a great connoisseur of soups, I think you're going to do that. This is what I think you do. You do the tasting of all 3, and my guess is you're going to say, I'm going to run that turtle back.
Yeah. I'm also very interested in this appetizer. The shrimp and tasso Henneken, wild Louisiana white shrimp stuffed with homemade tasso ham, pickled okra, sweet red onions, 5-pepper jelly, and a crystal hot sauce Beurre Blanc.
Come on.
Sure. Yes. Mm-hmm. That sounds delightful. And then from the entrees, they've got some redfish. They've got obviously a filet. They've got
I'm not going
to get a filet there. They've got a Tasso Brine Duroc pork over Louisiana molasses whipped sweet potatoes with brown butter braised turnips.
I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, late harvest tomato jam and a horseradish pot liquor, whatever that is. That sounds very good to me. I think Mr. Rossi, who has an affection for the bird, will have the Cafe Pierre lacquered Texas quail.
Lacquered Texas quail.
Sounds great. The lacquered Texas quail. I mean,
probably would be.
I don't know. They also have a pecan.
I need a good
crusted
place to go
goldfish.
Saturday night that's not going to break the bank.
Why? You're on the company dime.
I'm not on. I don't. Well, I'm not.
You want to know? I don't. Where you? I mean, you don't have to tell me the exact hotel, but you know the district you're staying at.
We're near the convention center.
Oh yeah. So go if you're right near the convention center. Then it's not 3 blocks off of that road the convention center's on is Koshan and Koshan Butcher.
Yes, I was looking that up. Is that?
Oh my God,
that's the place.
First of all, Koshan's outrageous. I mean, that place is all time legendary. It wouldn't be as expensive as this, but legendary chef,
and that's fine. Like I'm good spending some money on a good meal.
Okay, go to Koshan.
I'm with.
Get into
we're
Koshan.
Not walking into.
Get into Koshan.
Okay.
And go there. That one because it won't be crazy. But if you can't do that, go eat at Koshan Butcher. That's great.
There you go.
That is great. And then you got to go to the original Emerald's and get the original banana cream pie.
Excuse me?
You've not had it there?
No. Excuse me?
Well, that's where you're going for dessert. So you eat this, you get back into your vicinity, and then you go to
She-Man's
Emerald's,
ready
which
to
is
go.
right near your hotel,
And say, I need the
and
banana
say,
cream pie.
I would like a banana cream pie. And
Yes.
then that sucker's going to come out, and it will be the greatest banana cream pie you've ever had in your life at the original Emerald's.
I got to tell you, I am
jealous. I got to tell you, I am jealous.
Come with
I
us.
love this town.
Come with me.
I love the food.
I'm sure I'll have an extra bed in my room.
God, just think of all the fellowship.
Dude, so much fellowship.
So much fellowship.
The brotherhood, the fellowship.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then you're going to drink Sazeracs.
That's right. That's what you do.
Yeah, you drink Sazeracs.
I'm going to have a Sazerac, and then I'll probably have some French wine honoring the Creole roots.
You get that, and then the Sazerac, and heaven. You have the time of your lives.
There's also a lot of absinthe going around to New Orleans.
Well, they do the absinthe in the Sazerac.
Look, like,
here's what you
I
don't
gotta
do
be
in New Orleans.
responsible that night.
Hurricanes.
I have to.
Or hand grenades.
Our bus is at 6:45 in the
sugar.
morning.
You are a professional.
I know,
He
but
is a
I also have
professional.
another game 3 days after the fact.
I know, but you're going to be a professional. Here's the deal.
Play like a champion.
Play like a champion. Here's what I would tell you. Ordering a Sazerac does not mean that you got to be up till 4 a.m. slamming hand grenades and
No, and you're not going to do that
hurricanes.
because those are going to
You're
give you
gonna have one
headaches.
Sazerac and you're going to go to bed. It's going to be great.
No,
I
that's
agree
what I'm
with you.
saying. Like, I'm not going wild and crazy.
You don't.
I would love to go
I don't
wild
even
and
like
crazy.
wild and crazy New Orleans. I like this operation.
Yep.
That's the New Orleans I like. I don't need Bourbon Street.
I
I'm
don't.
not a college
I've been
kid.
it. I've done it.
I don't need to.
Great.
I didn't even go down there. I have no interest down there. There's plenty of stuff where
and
you
it's
guys
far
are.
enough away from where we're staying. I can't get into the mix there.
Nah,
That's a good thing.
you're great.
Last time we stayed very close.
We were on Bourbon Street. We were at the JW on Bourbon.
Yeah,
What went wrong? A lot.
a lot. Yeah. I don't
In
think you
the
need the
booth, on the
beignets. I
field,
don't think.
everywhere.
I think you're good. You're good. I heard that yesterday. Shots fired. All right. It's everything you wanted in the second hour of the program. We'll do the other side of the matchup. Coming up next, though, it is the hottest, fastest moving, most popular segment in the history of sports media. It is College Football Nate. It is coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boost your game day this season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $50 or more. Get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet is official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for the hottest segment in sports media. It is time for college football with College Football Nate.
Let's go. I've been on fire lately.
You have. You got the pulse.
I've been on fire lately.
Yeah, listen, people
pulse.
look at me and they're like, oh, this guy is just like Ole Miss and he's going to get steamrolled by Georgia. Not so fast.
Not so fast, baby.
God, I love this segment. Gabe's like, when are we doing this? Like, I go, we can't do it till Bo's back.
Yeah, I got to be in the mix for College Football Nate.
For this one.
Yep.
All right, let's hit it, Kev.
First down.
All right, first down. Not a great week on the old college football schedule, but these are the two best games. Which one are you more interested in? Tennessee, Georgia, or Utah, Colorado? Nate Feinbaum in the front row.
Definitely Tennessee, Georgia. Carson Beck right now, he's got a crisis, and it's called turning the football over. 10 picks in his last 4 games. That's really not a way to play winning football, but Georgia's a team that you feel like should still be in the dance, but they've got a couple of losses now. Everybody wants Georgia in this playoff. The TV execs want Georgia in this playoff. They need them in this playoff, so that's the game. They've got to win this game. They've got to beat Tennessee and erase the stink of the stinker that they played in the egg against Ole Miss. It might as well have been the Rotten Egg Bowl is what they should have called that one.
Tennessee, Georgia it's the far more important game from the standpoint of a Georgia loss. I think they're done. Even as tough as their schedule has been, 3 regular season losses.
Could bury 'em.
It would also almost guarantee a situation where it would be Tennessee against the winner of Texas A&M and Texas in the SEC title game. If it were to hold, then that would be Texas and Tennessee. The loser's in, the winner's in. Alabama then gets in as well because Alabama wouldn't have to play in an SEC title game. And then the last spot would probably be – I know there's another 2-loss team in there. I'm not sure which one it would be. So that's why that one is so significant. You're right on Georgia. They have – what Greg Sankey did is he made it right with his TV executives. So they play in the SEC 8 conference games versus 9. In exchange for that, they played the hits. And so Georgia played Texas and Bama and all these games, and they're feeling the brunt of it. They're battered on their offensive line. Their quarterback's not playing good at all. So that's the situation. For Colorado, who's actually playing really good football right now,
correct.
They could play themselves into the Big 12 championship game. They could. That was really impressive. They hung on and won in – they were trailing at half to Texas Tech last week, and they won. Travis Hunter currently the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman, which is wild.
Yeah.
Next.
Genty, come on.
Second down.
All right. Well, that parlays a little bit about what the assistant commissioner, Bo Bishop, said.
Yeah.
If the season ended today, which SEC teams would Commissioner Nate have in the college football playoff?
If it ended right now?
Yes, if it ended today.
Texas, Bama, Georgia. Ole Miss? Could you get 4 of them in there?
For sure. You're going to get 4.
All right. Ole Miss.
How many 3-loss teams?
Wait, hold on. I made a mistake. Tennessee.
No Georgia.
No Georgia?
No.
Ole Miss over Georgia?
Ole Miss beat Georgia 28-10, so we've seen that game played.
But Tennessee, Alabama,
Texas
beat
Georgia. So those have same metrics. Ole Miss has 2 losses. Bama has 2 losses. Texas and Tennessee have 1. So
if Georgia beats Tennessee,
yeah,
then I would go Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee.
No, you'd go Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia.
I get to do whatever I want.
You can't. So you would take the team that Georgia beat over the team that beat Georgia with the same record? They don't play.
I just think Tennessee is it's more of a powerhouse. Like right now, if they're ranked ahead of Ole Miss,
yeah,
and they're a scoring machine.
Yep,
they're running a very exciting offense. Cedric Tillman, product of Tennessee, by the way. Then yes, I would keep them in. I don't think Ole Miss is going to go the rest of the way without losing.
I do find it interesting that the leading passer by rating in the country is the quarterback at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And the quarterback at Tennessee, this high-flying offense that you're speaking about, you're obviously so confident it doesn't matter if the starting quarterback plays or not.
I don't care.
Nico Imalaeva, doesn't matter if he's in or not, or it's fine. It's the system that is the key. So I like where you went there.
Look at what Jalen Hyatt did while he was there.
He's
listen what
playing chess.
That's exactly right.
He's playing chess.
Listen, Eli Manning is not walking through the door. I don't care who this guy is.
He's good. He's a good player.
What's his name?
Jackson Dart.
Oh, I like that name.
Yeah, it's a good name.
G-Man's mouth is on the floor.
Jackson
he
Dart.
Wants to argue.
What's the name of the
G-Man.
Georgia quarterback's name?
Carson Beck.
Jackson Dart, way better than Carson Beck.
Did you just say that you don't see Ole Miss going the rest of the way without losing?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either. Ole Miss isn't going to lose the rest of the way.
Oh, okay. I was just making
You think
sure.
Ole Miss is going to lose?
No.
Who are they playing?
They play Florida and
That's
Mississippi
how
State.
I interpreted. He thought that he was.
Listen,
they were
they
going
were
to lose
going to
one of the
lose.
games to
Oh, yeah.
Mississippi
No, they-
State or Florida,
no,
which is just not going to happen.
Listen, don't count out the
By the way-
Bulldogs. We've got a lot of Bulldogs
By the way,
on this roster.
We have
DJ Lagway getting healthy for Florida?
He's not.
DJ who?
I don't. Maybe they could. I don't know if I would
Bankman?
even mess with him. Let's remember too, one of the biggest of L luminaries, Hotty Toddy, gosh almighty, Ole Miss.
That's right.
Never forget.
Also, a lot of ties to Tennessee here, though. So
Also a lot of ties to Tennessee.
We got, I mean, like they're pretty.
But that's luminaries.
So they're rooting for the luminaries are rooting for Tennessee to beat Georgia, and then
fine.
you're fine. It's Texas. You get Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss.
Yep.
Jackson Dart's a great name. I like that guy. Is he
Former U.S. Yeah, oh yeah, he can play.
Is he draft eligible?
Yeah, he started his career at USC.
How come I'm not hearing a lot about him as a draft prospect?
I don't know. I think so much of it was on Beck early and then Shador late.
G-Man. Well, Cam Ward. I've heard that name.
You don't want Cam Ward.
No.
I gotta be careful what I say.
I was going to say Dane Brugler.
Don't
said,
save that audio.
Dane Brugler said today if the Browns were going to take a quarterback in this draft, he would take Cam Ward.
That would not fit with what Kevin is interested in, I don't believe.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I like Jackson Dart. Throwing darts.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it so easy.
Guess
as a
what his
broadcaster.
you guys know what his NIL deal was?
$2.4 million.
No. One of the sponsorships? NetJets.
That feels like pretty good.
Brilliant.
I like Jackson.
Brilliant maneuver.
A lot to like about that
He's
kid.
smart.
Yeah, very smart.
So
it's a good one to have.
Is Carson Beck just bad?
Yeah.
Sad for him.
Next.
Third down.
All right, this is in honor of
I feel like I've
just
already done 4
horrible football being played in the Sunshine State. College and pro question. Rank the following Florida teams from most popular right now to least. Florida, FSU, and the U on the college side. NFL side, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Miami. Combine them all.
The most popular team in the state of Florida is the University of Florida. The second most popular team in the state of Florida is Florida State. The third most popular team
Right
in the
now?
state of
I meant.
I don't think it
I think
matters.
it means this moment.
But they don't. There's no band. I mean, you didn't say best. You said most popular. So Florida State, Miami
most
Dolphins
popular
third.
right now.
Miami Dolphins third. I would say Tampa Bay Bucks fourth. The U fifth. Who do I have left? Jaguars.
Jags.
So I did it in another way. Like I'm saying, based on this season's performance, how
Jags.
I
Who
would
am I
rank them.
missing? Jags are six. 'Cause you had the 3D1. FSU. I had two. So Florida State.
That's all that's listed here.
Yeah, Florida
There were 6
State,
total.
Miami, Tampa Bay Bucks, Miami Hurricanes, and then Jags. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
This is how I rank it. This is my rankings. I get to do whatever I want. I think
can.
the
You're college
Bucks.
football, Nate.
The Bucks are the most right now by their own fan base. The Bucks are the team that is most liked by their own fan base. That's how I'm.
Okay,
Good. That's
if
how
you
I
want to
thought
be
about
most
it.
liked by their own fan base, then I think you have that right.
Bucks 1, Florida. You said they're so popular. I don't think they're 2 though. I think the U, even though they had a hiccup here,
Yes, by their own fan base.
they
yes.
would be 2. Florida would be 3. Miami 4, Jacksonville 5, and then Florida State 6 because this is a catastrophe.
I think Florida and Florida State would be the bottom 2 if you did most
By fan base?
By fan base, yeah.
Ahead of the Jags.
Yeah, because I don't know that many people even care about it's so much apathy.
I don't know, but Mac
like
Jones.
Florida people are Florida football thinks they're Alabama.
Okay.
So them not being that really upsets them.
Okay. All right, 4th down, please.
I don't know.
Fourth down.
I just thought it was a good question because
It was. We
the state
pondered
of
it.
Florida
Well, we
football
answered
right-
it differently.
The state
We
of Florida
answered it.
football right now is
Bad.
awful.
I think it's all. I think it was last week. It was the first time they all lost, including like USF, UCF, FAU, FIU, all of them. Stetson, FAMU, Bethune, all of them all lost.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a fun one. You have college game day. You got Fox Big Noon. If you were to put together the ultimate college football preview show with 5 people total, who are you taking from which show?
Well, that's pretty easy.
Wow. Okay. So much for my questions this week.
I know. I like the creativity of this question. I'm taking Reese Davis to host. I'm taking McAfee. I'm taking Herb Street. I'm taking my close personal friend Brady Quinn, and I'm taking Urban Meyer.
Guy has a couple nights of bourbon, and all of a sudden you guys are besties.
Right. And Urban.
I'll
Urban
return
over.
my call,
You could also do, if Brady were too busy, you could also do Urban and Saban with McAfee, Herbie, and Reese Davis.
So I went Reese Davis, McAfee, Herbie, Saban, because I find it to be entertaining, and then I'm Lee Corso circa 2017.
2007, maybe.
How about right
Even,
now?
yeah. It's
Why are
amazing.
you exasperated by that? Why can't I have
even
Lee
right now
Corso
if
in his heyday?
It's still undefeated when he puts on a mascot.
Yes, but I want him in his heyday. I want him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to have on my show though.
Who's that?
Brady, I think is a good one. I think Urban's very entertaining. I think someday Bake could be great on one of these programs.
Bake will be a huge hire for somebody
on one of these programs
because he'll be McAfee, except he'll have the Heisman.
Desmond Howard. Hey.
Come on.
Any guesses on this week's spread for Ohio State and Northwestern, live from Wrigley Field?
11 a.m. local, by the way, on that.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I
that's
lived
fun.
in Illinois.
Bucks
I remember those.
minus 35.
I'm going to go 28.5.
28.5 was my number 2.
28.5, dead on.
Really?
Dead on.
There you go.
Over-under is 43.5.
Did you see that field? The clown show?
Yeah. Why are
Are
they
we
doing?
supposed
why
to
can't they
expect?
pay-
Is there a willing suspension of disbelief that we're supposed to expect somebody who did a show in Columbus discussing? I'm sure this game coming up on Saturday did not have.
No, I
prior
did not know
knowledge
I
of
did
the
not
line.
On my children. I swear I did not know the number. On my children. I did not. I didn't
On
know
my
the
children,
number.
I did know the number.
Oh, you
I
did?
don't know how that.
I
would,
did.
I don't know that would have come up on a Thursday.
No, we do it on a
Thursday
Friday
program.
On
Okay.
a Friday, we do the scores on a Friday.
So Bishop, you weren't here yesterday. We didn't
Yeah.
guess the scores, and
get
the
back?
kids
Kid
are
got
telling
back.
me on the chat rooms. They're like, "This segment's rigged. Zagura knows all the scores."
Okay. Tell me no more. Let me
Nate
just weigh
had
in.
a meltdown.
So I did
of
not.
Epic proportions.
Let me just say this: I didn't hear that portion of the show. Having been the guy who administers guess the scores, this would be my counter to anybody who says that. If that were the case, why wouldn't he just win every week?
I would.
And he's so smart, he wouldn't go 16-0 every week. He'd go 13-3, go 12-4. He'd have some misses here and there, so it was believable. So, like,
9 and
what is the
5s.
point?
Yeah.
Why would he?
Correct.
It's rigged. We had 2 or 3 losing weeks in a row.
I won this week to get myself. I think to
He tried to lose.
We don't know.
He
It's either
lost 3
4
or
and
4 down the
7.
stretch.
I'm either 4 and 7 or 5 and 6, but I'm losing on the season.
Yeah.
And I need it, so I was like, I was cruising this week, and then I lost 3 in a row.
Did you
and
get
it
that
came down
Detroit
to the
one?
Monday night game. I got Detroit. I
Did
nailed
you?
that. I knew it was
Is that the
14 or
biggest
17.
score of the year?
13.5.
That
Yeah,
has to
but
be the
I
biggest
said
one.
14.
Yeah, so you nailed it, yeah.
But then it came down to what's Monday night?
It's Dallas and Houston.
And it was 7.5.
That's tough.
In Houston?
In Dallas.
I know, and I went Houston -7 and got
Wow.
so lucky.
And it was, on it, 7.5.
Because some of the
or something.
lines where I was wrong were bigger than, so I was just like.
Yeah.
By the way, you could have convinced me if they said that one was -4. I'd been like, fine.
Yeah, it's all about the same, seems like. Fill your game day cool with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea, and keep it legal. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly. Your Fantasy Minute is coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Dog Pound, dig into Wendy's new Browns Biggie Bundle. It's all season long. You get that Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, a 4-piece nug, Junior Fry, small soft drink, and a small Frosty for $7. Grab one from any participating Wendy's for a limited time. Time for your Fantasy Minute, presented by Scaleco, proud capital investment partner of your Cleveland Browns. And for some information, we turn to Dr. Z.
A lot of turning.
We're turning a lot to Dr. Z today, man.
Yeah.
College
seriously.
football, Nate.
All right, here we go.
Franchise. You're the franchise.
No, we.
Goose.
Thanks, Goose. All right, start the quarterback position. Obviously, if you have Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, I would even say Brock Purdy, Jaden Daniels, they are must-starts. Guys that maybe aren't must-starts that I would start this week, Jared Goff, Bo Nix against Atlanta. I like Justin Herbert a lot against Cincinnati. He's starting to come on strong. Russell Wilson, believe it or not, but against Baltimore, everybody throws on Baltimore. Yep. Russell Wilson, I think, is a solid start this week, and I think you could go so far as to say that our guy, Jameis Winston, is a nice start against the New Orleans Saints this week. Running backs, things are changing at this position here around the league. Chase Brown is now a must-start every single week, especially in a PPR league. Kenneth Walker is getting a lot of work in Seattle. I like him as well. McCaffrey's back, so that's wonderful. Kareem Hunt, they said Pacheco's starting to practice again, so while the getting is good. I like Ramondre against the Rams, and I love Nicholas Jamal Chubb this week against the Saints. Saints have allowed a running back to score in 6 straight games, 11 running back touchdowns during that span. This should be the game. They're giving up the most yards per carry to running backs this season, and second most touchdowns. Let's go, Nick Chubb. Big Nick Chubb game. Huge Nick Chubb game. Huge. All right, wide receiver. Chubb. I mean, at some point you have to acknowledge what people are doing. Like Tyreek Hill, not good. Like DJ Moore, awful. Calvin Ridley, good. Jackson Smith and Jigba, does he keep it going? I think so. Cedric Tillman, good. Jawan Jennings, good. Darnell Mooney feels like a must-start at this point for the Atlanta Falcons. So those are guys that I'm rolling with. Jacoby Myers against Miami, I think it's good when McLaurin's getting 100 yards every single week. That's where I'm going at the wide receiver position. And then tight ends, this has been a fun position, tight ends, because you're starting to get some production again, which is good. First part of the season, you really were not. I love the Chief against New Orleans. Gesicki is starting to be a big player there. I like that matchup against the Chargers. T.J. Hawkinson is back. Roll with them. Dallas Goedert, Tyler Kraft, Ferguson. These are all people that I'd be starting in. If Dalton Kincaid's out, I think Dawson Knox is a sneaky little pickup and play at the tight end position as well. Jonnu Smith getting a lot of action. Defenses, and this is you always should be streaming these defenses and playing matchups. Vikings against Tennessee, love. Lions against the Jags with Mac Jones, love. The Texans against the Cowboys with Cooper Rush, love. Packers against Chicago, love them as well. So those are the D's that I would be going with this week. I think Miami's not bad either against Las Vegas, although Minshew can throw the ball a little bit.
Good job to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, coming up next, we do the other side of the matchup. It is the Browns offense versus that Saints defense. You'll also hear from Joel Bitonio from the podium. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my friends at Jim Beam. Whether you're catching up with friends over a cocktail, hosting a holiday movie night, or getting together for a gift exchange, Jim Beam is here to help you have the best Friendsmas ever. If you need a holiday playlist, digital invitations, cocktail recipes, or last-minute gifts, the Friendsmas shop is stacked with everything you need to create more merry and bright moments this holiday season. Visit jimbeam.com to explore all the Friendsmas shop has in store. Jim Beam, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, copyright 2024, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. And now here's Joel Bitonio at the podium.
Talking to Kevin and Ken about
You guys are down.
So what are a couple of things that you guys think you can do better over the last 8 weeks as opposed to before the bye?
Yeah, we just, at the end of the day, it comes down to executing when we call the runs. We've had some decent looks, and there's been some good runs. We watch all of our runs from, before the bye and stuff during the bye, so we try to get some of that going. But it comes to executing, and we have an ideal premier look. Like, you have to take advantage of it. I feel like there's been too many where it's like, oh, this is a good box for us, and someone missed a block or it was, miscalled. So those have been tough for us. We're going to try and get back to what we do good, though. We're gonna add some things in there, getting it comfortable. But it really comes down to executing a little bit better.
Kevin or Ken just mentioned, leaning into what you guys did well for the first 9 games. Can there be a significant scheme shift going back to something you did before? Or
yeah,
really focused on one area.
We have a lot, not a lot. Like, everybody has every kind of run in. You have gap, you have zone, you have inside zone, you have G schemes. There's a lot that goes into it. So you can find the plays that you were successful in and kind of, work into that a little bit better, and especially with your personnel. You have different guys that excel at different things. White's a good puller and get him in space and do things of that nature. So there's definitely ways you can find it. And it's not that we don't have the plays in, it's just what we're going to call that week.
Getting used to having DeJuan Jones next to you?
Yeah, it's been good. We've had a couple weeks now. We're going into the third week, and I give him a lot of credit for going over there and trying to play. He's played a lot of right tackle, so to switch sides is tough, but I think he's getting more comfortable each time he gets a rep there. And our communication is getting better. I understand what he likes to hear and how we need to communicate, so it's improving every week.
Does the fact that he's so big affect spacing you at all?
It does. It's a little comfy, you got a big guy next to you. You're like, oh, this guy's big over here. But no, you get used to it. Every once in a while, I'm like, hey, scoot out a little bit. Like you're you're a big guy, but no, you get used to it pretty quickly.
Andrew, when we talked to Andrew about the tackles, he has the philosophy that right can play left, left can play right. Just though your vast experience in seeing DeJuan make this transition over there, do you see him as a potential future left tackle in the making?
Yeah, I think he can play it. I think he's shown already. I mean, we went against Khalil Mack and Bosa, and there was some help and some chips and some scheme stuff. But for the most part, he's very solid in pass protection, and for him, it's always going to be the details of just keep working that. But I think as long as his body holds up and stuff, I think he can play either side. It's kind of what other side he wants to really get into and make that commitment to. But yeah, I think he could be a left tackle or a right tackle, whatever he kind of chooses or the coaches choose for him.
Joel, when you look at the team's defensive front, what stands out?
Yeah, they all play hard. They have a lot of experience. Their edges are big. Like 6'4", 6'5", 260 to 280 guys. They're pretty versatile. They played a lot of jam last week, which is putting 5 guys on the D line. But their inside guys are all talented, powerful rushers. They 2-gap most of the time, but they'll run some games. And then their rush package is pretty good. They have a lot of games, but they can give you odd. They can give you 4 down. They put their linebackers up, and they can pick and do all types of stuff. So it's pretty versatile front.
Do you have how you want to spend the bye week, down to a science kind of at this point in your career? I mean, I know last year you had that small procedure done on your knee.
Yeah.
This year, not having to worry about that. What's most important for you?
Well, I got 3 kids now under 5, so I got to spend time being a dad and being a husband. Did a date night, some fun things like that. But we just stayed in Cleveland. I came in, got my body right a few days. But then for me, it's really getting out of the building and getting away from people, the building, just refresh your mind. But I got to be a dad for a few days, so that was pretty fun. But I don't have anything. If I need to come in, I need to come in. It's kind of, I don't take any extravagant trips. I think early in my career I made a plans for a trip, and I got a high ankle sprain like the day before in the game before, so I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just focusing on football.
Jordan was up here yesterday. Jordan Hicks was talking about just like all the stuff that he's been through this season. It just got me thinking, like, that's probably goes in one ear and out the other for you guys and even us. But like, how often are guys dealing with injuries and stuff like that people don't see?
Yeah, it's 100% injury rate in the NFL. Like, if you play in the game, like, you're feeling something the next week. It doesn't always end up on the injury report, or it's not serious enough where you have to get necessarily rehab for it specifically. But guys are battling through, and most guys are pretty quiet about it, so you don't even understand, like, the severity of things and how guys fight. But it's a tough sport for tough guys, and to be out there on a week-to-week basis is impressive. But guys go through a lot of stuff, and you know, it's it's kind of crazy how much some of the guys put their bodies through to go out there and play.
When you're talking about that Saints defense, does it remind you what Joe Woods did here, or is it more kind of the Dennis Allen look?
I think more Dennis Allen. I know Joe Woods' secondary has a lot of that stuff involved, but this week he kind of called plays. He ran a lot more jam front. But they run a little bit more like under defense than I remember Joe Woods running when he was here. So I think they're a little bit more two-gapping up front than what I remember Joe Woods doing here. But there's definitely some blitz tells and some game tells that he used to run as well.
Joe, one of the surprising stats going into the bye week is you guys haven't had a play go for 40 yards yet this year. You've had some go over 20, but like you're not really keeping pace with the flow of like maybe what the defense gives up. What's it going to take for you guys to really get those home run plays that we have become so accustomed to seeing the last couple of years?
Yeah, the explosive plays are huge. I think that's why the NFL went so heavy to the pass game, because they realized, like, hey, if you get a 40, 50-yard gain, like, your chances of scoring on that drive and scoring a touchdown are significantly higher. And I think it just comes down to our execution. Like, if someone's open, we have to protect well enough, and if we're protecting well enough, we have to find the open guy. You see plays like the end of the Baltimore game where we took advantage of it. That would have been an 80-yard touchdown if we called it, on the 20. But, you score a touchdown before it happened. So there's plays. And then the run game, we got to finish our blocks and try and get, Nick and Jerome and Pierre onto that second level where they can make those safeties miss. But I think, like I talked about, it really comes down to our execution. And when we have the opportunity, you got to find a way to make it happen.
That was from the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. We got to head back to Dr. Z because we got another matchup. Right back to Dr. Z's doing some heavy lifting today. A lot of Dr. Z.
This whole week.
College football Nate.
This week has been a heavy.
Jeez.
Gibby's just sitting
You
back
get
there.
those robust shoulders and biceps. You're ready for it.
I felt like I did a pretty decent job of surrounding you with enough content.
You did.
The last 2 days to get you through.
I think you're right.
Today, I just knew it was going to probably be one of those days.
Thanks, Gibby.
Red at Work, who's a great human, met him last week at the basketball tournament. Where's the best place to get nachos in New Orleans, Gibby?
Pittsburgh. Go to the airport, get on a plane, fly
to Pittsburgh. Go to Heinz Field.
And then go to,
Get your nachos.
Or Acrisure.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of that, do you think that when you have something that is so grained, I think of this with Staples in L.A., when the original launch of the naming of it, you have to have it right then because it is so hard to come off of.
It's Heinz Field.
It's Heinz Field. And it's Staples Center, and it's like the one in Salt Lake is the Delta Center. I don't know if I don't think it is anymore.
I mean, even the dome we're going to this weekend. Think of it as a Mercedes-Benz Dome. It's the Caesars Superdome.
Now it's Little Caesars?
No, it's Caesars.
Caesars Palace.
Yeah.
Caesars
Superdome.
Okay.
I thought of it as just a Superdome or Mercedes-Benz Superdome,
Yeah. It was always, they must have swapped for Atlanta because that's now Mercedes-Benz.
The G-Man says it is still the Delta Center in Salt
Is it
Lake
really?
City.
Is
that's nice.
Is the basketball arena in New Orleans still like the Planet Smoothie or
It used to be the
Smoothie King or
Smoothie
something
King
like that?
Center, yeah.
I don't know. If you're looking for something to do Saturday night, it's Pelicans-Lakers in New Orleans.
Okay, can we talk for a second?
Go ahead.
What's going on with Bronny?
Well, he's not good.
Well, we know that. It was
Thank
so
you,
cool
Bo.
that he scored the basket here. His
cool.
First, perhaps only NBA basket.
Yeah.
He's in the G League, but he doesn't travel.
Is that real?
Yeah, Windhorst reported it.
Oh, really? Oh, I missed that.
So I didn't know that.
he's on the G League team, but he only plays home games.
Hold on.
That won't ostracize you with your teammates at all. Jeez.
Hold, please. All right, Brian Windhorst.
Yeah, we know him.
Actually, a big fan of Z on the call games.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Windhorst. All right.
Greatness sees greatness.
This is from Awful Announcing. He said, I'm going to apply the brinks that everything's fine on the Bronny front, Windhorst said on the Hoop Collective podcast. From my understanding, he's only going to play in South Bay Lakers home games. He's only going to be kind of a part-time G League player. He's not getting on United Airlines to go and play in road games. So I guess in the G League, they fly commercial.
Oh, jeez.
Honestly, I knew he was getting so much special treatment and nepotism. That's fine. I don't care. Like I said, it's normal. But now I think it's actually detrimental to him. I don't like that. I don't know whose idea it was. Obviously, the Lakers are fine with it. They're doing it. On this particular instance, I think that's gone too far, and I don't think it benefits Bronny, and I don't think it benefits the South Bay Lakers. It's an ad pops up. Come on, man.
How can you only
And I don't
play
think it benefits LeBron at this point. I think it'd be much better if Bronny was a more developed player by February or March playing in G League road games.
Well, yeah.
So he's not, because they fly commercial,
So
he's not doing it?
He can't fly commercial?
I don't know.
Probably never has his whole life.
It's actually a very valid point.
Yeah. Would even know. Do you have TSA pre? What's that? Do you have clear?
I have to sign up for what?
What's this? What is this thing? Oh, it's a security. You got to go through that.
That guy that kid needs as many reps as possible in that G League. That's
I'm
not
gonna
doing
be
him
real
any
honest
favors.
with you. I don't think there's any amount of reps.
There's a hot smoke.
No, I don't.
Coming.
I
But
just think
I don't think you're wrong.
I just think athletically, size, length, all of it. There's no. That he's just not on that level. Just not. You
And
know?
it's okay.
No, God, yes.
Yeah, I mean
he's a really nice really nice high school basketball player. He was a decent college player for 1 year at
Should've
USC.
stayed.
Probably should have stayed. And honestly, and I remember this because he visited Ohio State. LeBron and Savannah were there, and Holtman told me that Savannah and LeBron were incredible. They're like, you're coaching him, we're staying out of it. All of that. Had he gone to Ohio State, but of course he wanted to be near family. And look, I mean, the kid's worth a bunch of money, and he gets to stay in Southern California versus being. But probably if he really wanted to be a basketball player, he probably should have gone somewhere and played a lot of basketball.
Yeah,
would have been the most beneficial thing. That's wild to not travel. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
One other story, since we're kind of
digressing.
Yeah, that's fine. We know the matchup.
Yeah.
The reports out of Tampa Bay that the Rays are going to play 2025 at Tampa's Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah. Have you been there, Legends Field?
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's really cool.
It holds 11,000 people.
That's about what there are for Rays games.
This is because of the damage to
this
Tropicana.
Yeah. So they've been 20-some years ago when I was down there, they were first trying to get a new stadium. They've been trying forever. They finally, I think, have one on the books in 2028.
Correct.
They're finally going to get one done. But it took almost 3 decades to get it done. And you will have 2 Major League Baseball teams next year playing in minor league facilities because the A's are playing in Sacramento, and then this one.
I just how hot is that going to be too?
Well, boy, here you brought. I didn't even think about climate, Gibby. I was just thinking from a attendance standpoint.
And rain.
Season. How are you going to ever get a game in?
Correct.
In the summer. It
None
rains
of
every
this-
day.
Yeah,
Every
this doesn't.
That doesn't
bode
add
well.
up.
No.
Do you think that the A's will ever end up in Las Vegas?
I don't know.
I mean, what?
Or do
I'm
they just
assuming
stay in
this has to
Sacramento?
go forward.
That'd be ridiculous.
I agree with you, but
the fact they're not. It's very sad for young Nate.
Yeah. The only way it would have happened is if some tech guy in the Bay Area bought them and built it himself.
Yeah.
That's the only way it was going to happen. But, yeah, it's not a great thing, Major League Baseball, coming off of a record World Series where everybody watched, going into next season when you have 2 of the teams playing on there, and you have this Bally Diamond thing that they're trying to sort out with MLB on top of it. So it's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Kind of a mess.
I think if you're a sport, and you can tell me I'm nuts, and perhaps the numbers would back it up, but I think unless you're – think about this. Every week, and there are national TV basketball games and baseball games, but for now, you can really get your team's games. It's very easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you have to pay for it. But the ratings are so different for football and for non-football.
Yep.
That the idea that you would charge somebody a similar price point to consume basketball or baseball games as you would charge for the Sunday ticket. Sunday ticket is what? $300 for the year?
That's something like that, yeah.
Okay, so $300 for 17 weeks. 4 months or whatever. Basketball seasons are longer, but still the idea that they would want you to basketball should just be, I think it should be on. I think baseball should be on. I think they should be able to be consumed in your local market, period.
Yes.
Because
if I owned the Guardians or the Cavs or the Blue Jackets in Columbus and the Reds in Cincinnati and you had a way, I would say in your local market it should be free over the air.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Every
Phoenix
NFL
is doing
game
that.
is over the air free.
Free, yes.
Like you can watch if you live in Cleveland and you want to watch the Browns, you watch the Browns for free all year, and it is the number one sport by a mile. There's no, you shouldn't have to pay to watch.
No, and if I were Gilbert, I would say I'd pick one of the local stations and say, will you carry? We'll do the production like we always have. Will you carry Cavs games, 82 dates a year,
and let us sell some of the
ads? And I don't even know if yes, of course, and they would do it.
Of course
they would do it. There'd be one who would do it, and they should do it. And that's to me, if that's where this has to head.
But it feels
because
like it's heading
it's trying to head the opposite way, and they're looking for every cent. You know.
You said they're going to charge $7 a game?
$6.99 a game for NBA and NHL is what I read this morning on this. Good
Holy
luck.
Moly.
Good luck. You pay that a month for some of these streamers.
Okay, you can not only, let's say you live in Cleveland, so your two favorite sports teams from football standpoint, let's just say, are the Browns and the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Or even if you were somebody in like Michigan,
whatever, Notre Dame.
you can watch all of those games for free.
Yes, you can. Mostly.
There may be a Peacock
No,
here
you're
and
right.
there.
Other than the Peacocks and they all have one BTN game, but other than that, it's on Fox, CBS, or NBC. It's in a national window. Yeah, and what you just did is why the SEC has become what it's been, because from the mid-'90s until last year, they were on 3:30 on CBS around the country for free for everybody, and the most regional conference in the history of conferences became a national conference overnight, and now they are consistently outrating the Big Ten week to week in ratings because they became national brands.
And that's where
Georgia became a national brand. That's what happened.
Georgia,
Tennessee, Alabama outrated Ohio State, Oregon. That's crazy.
Yeah.
One was at 3:30, one was at night, and the 3:30 game in the SEC won. That's crazy. But that's what's happened. They're national brands.
Those are the most high demand, and it's free.
It's free.
Well, Z, what did you tell me the other day? Dallas, Philly? Dallas, Philly.
Yeah. Did you see the ratings for Dallas, Philly, which was a blowout? 25 million for a blowout.
Yeah,
34-6. I want to say.
What is?
Somebody asked Buck if they were going to take Dallas out of primetime, given that they stink, and he's like, no, the ratings are still going to be bonkers. And then they came in 25 million for Eagles, Cowboys at 425.
That's the thing about them, and you guys have been down there, so you know it, and we know it from a television perspective. When people talk about like McCarthy being fired from that job and will there be interest, you're damn right there will be interest. And it goes back to that scene in Catch Me If You Can where Walken takes young DiCaprio to Chase Manhattan Bank, and they're outside, and he's got the car, and he's opened the door for him, and he says, why do you think the Yankees are so good? And he goes, because they get caught staring at the pinstripes. That's the line, right? You see that star? It resonates.
Oh, yeah.
It resonates. Big.
You see Jerry's bus?
It works.
You go for a ride on it, easy to get sucked in.
Love seeing that thing.
Excuse me?
Let's just go to break before that gets worse. Elk and Elk, serious lawyers, serious injuries. You may need one. Give a call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. So much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Join Z and Gerard tonight, 7 to 8 for the Kevin Stefanski Show, live from Razzles at Olmsted Falls. Oh, this is a Gibby favorite.
Do it.
DeJuan Jones is going to be there. He'll be
DeJuan
there.
Jones.
Compliments of our friend. He's going to be great.
He is. He's fantastic.
He's so good in these settings. He's going to be absolutely great. So Big Thanos will be down there. So for
He's a
you
wonderful
Buckeye
young man.
Browns crossover fans, you get to do that tonight, which is lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. We have a good one tonight on Thursday night.
Back-to-back Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta get back on track.
To the NFC East we
very
go.
middling
The
last
Commies are 7-3, 3-2 on the road, headed to Fly Eagles Fly. I wonder if they take the train or bus. I don't know what they do. But Washington is in Philly tonight. Philly 7-2. Bo Bishop. Quite the
Trying to
dilemma
think
here.
about how to phrase this.
Well,
that
I've rolled
would
through that stop sign a few times.
contact our friends at Elk and Elk.
I love it.
So I like. It's a Thursday.
It is a Thursday.
Right? I like it's Thursday.
It is.
So I like Philly by 1 billion.
1 minute. 1 minute.
On a Thursday.
I think the Philly.
On
I
a
think
Thursday.
Eagles are just gonna fly.
Eagles fly.
Yeah.
By 1 billion is the. But I think you're in for a great game on a non-Thursday. Pay attention to the scores.
Really great.
I think you're into a really good game.
Could come down to a field goal. Some might
Potentially, yes.
Some might say.
That's kind of how
I see it the same.
That's how I see it shaking out.
Eagles huge.
How many of your family members are going to be at Razzles tonight? Is this your spot?
30.
Yeah, my wife this morning is like, by the way, I'm not coming.
Why?
I'm like, what?
That's
She goes,
hurtful.
I got some other stuff to do. I don't know.
On
That
a
doesn't mean
Thursday
anything.
night at 7:00.
Come on.
If the in-laws,
on.
trust me.
Hey,
Keno
hey,
Don
hey,
might be
hey,
there.
hey,
might meet Keno Don.
15.
Come on,
15.
come on. All right. That'll be fun. Going to be a
We'll
lot of
see.
fun tonight. The next level's coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.